December 22nd. That's 4 months away. And she's like, hey guys, my name is Taisha, and today I'm be telling y'all how I found out I was pregnant at 15. And yeah. But okay, so this is how it started. So it started off with me being sick all the time, always tired. Like, I felt so lazy, like I didn't have energy to do nothing. I was always hungry. I was eating 24/7. I was doing all of that. But the worst thing I had was spitting. So I was going on Google looking at my symptoms, and the first thing that was always popping up was pregnant. And I was just like, nope, can't be. No, I'm not. Nope. So I was always pushing it to the side. And then I don't know if this just happens to me, but when you go on like social media and the only thing was that comes up is like whatever you're going through, that was what was happening to me. Like, I was going on Facebook and I was taking those little test things, and the only thing you would see is like it was like the blessings that you're getting in 2019 is a baby and all this other good stuff. And I'm just like, me? No. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. So I was just like pushing it all to the side. So then that's when, alright, so I was playing basketball over the summer, and I was doing weight training or whatever. So in order to play, you have to have a physical on file. So school starts and it's like almost time for the season, like for you to actually start playing, because my physical was like expired. So it's almost time for us to play, and it's August, so I go to the doctor to get a physical. Mind you, I was supposed to get a physical over the summer, but I didn't because I had family issues, and I was like always like traveling back and forth from like basketball and practices and all types of other good stuff. So I never really had time to. So I was like, I would just go one day before school and just do half a day of school. But it didn't turn out like that. So anyways, one morning I go to the doctor's to go get my physical, and I'm filling out all the paperwork or whatever, and finally the nurse comes in the room. And when she comes in the room, she checks my heart rate, and she says, why is your heart beating so fast? And I was like, I don't know. And then she was like, well, I can't put this on your physical because then that will give you a bad like look, I guess. So she was like, I'll come back and do it at the end. And I was like, okay, fine, that's cool. So then that's when we do all the other stuff. So we get to the like very last part, and that is pressing down your stomach. I don't know if they do this last to everybody, but they did this last to me. So the last thing they did was press down on my stomach. But before she even pressed down on it, she pulled up my shirt and she was like, you got a little pudge. And I was like, okay. She's like, are you constipated? And I was like, yeah. Because even though like I had a feeling like I knew that I was, but like I didn't want to like, like, I guess I was in so much denial where I was just like, yeah, whatever, I'm not pregnant. So anyway, she was like, are you constipated? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, well, I'm gonna have you go pee in this cup. She pulls out a cup and she's like, I'm gonna have you go pee in this cup, and I'm gonna need for you to bring it back to me once you're done. I was like, I really don't gotta pee. But anyways, I go in the room, I go to the bathroom and I go pee in the cup. It was like this much pee. I don't even know how they could even get anything out of there. But so yeah, I went and peed in the cup. While I was peeing in the cup, I was thinking in my head like, dang, what if I'm really is pregnant and all this other stuff. Like, I had so many thoughts going through my head. So alright, so I give her the pee, and I give her the cup of pee, and then I go back in the room with my mom, because I was with my mom that day. And we were just sitting in there, was talking or whatever. The nurse comes back 10 minutes later and she checks my heart rate, and she's like, okay, your heartbeat went down some, so let me finish this paperwork and I'll be right back, and I'll let y'all be able to go. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was like, maybe I'm not. So then that's when she comes back in the room and she sits down in a corner and she's like, sorry, but I can't give you back your physical. And I'm like, me and my mom like, why you can't give us back the physical? And she says, well, I put your daughter's sample into a pregnancy test and it came back positive. And I looked at her and I'm like, you gotta be playing with me, because boo, who even told you to put that in a pregnancy test? And I'm just looking at her like, no, she didn't. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm positive. And then she was like, well, we're gonna see if we can find you the nearest OB-GYN that can squeeze you in for an ultrasound just to make sure and check. And I'm just like, we ain't even gotta do all that because I'm not pregnant. And she's like, well, you still have to still check. I did have a patient one time where it was like there was something wrong with them to the point where, like, when they did take the pregnancy test, that it came out positive, but she wasn't really pregnant. She had to go through surgery and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, that's what's wrong with me because I'm not pregnant, boo. And she's like, okay, we still have to make sure. And we have to find out what's wrong with you. So, she leaves for like 30 minutes. And then she comes back and she says, you can go like 30 minutes up the road to this hospital and they'll squeeze you in for ultrasound. And I was like, okay, whatever. So we go all the way out there. Mind you, my mom is like mad right now. Like, I don't know if she was, I don't think she was mad, but I guess she was like, my mom was really tired because she works overnight and she had like just did an overnight shift, and then we had to get up and go to the doctor's like as soon as she got back from work. So she was like really tired. So she was like kind of getting frustrated because she had to go do all this other extra stuff. And then like I was like, you don't have to be frustrated because I'm not pregnant. She was like, not that many things come up and make its pregnancy test come back positive. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I put my headphones in and we go and we finally get to the hospital. So when we get to the hospital, they makes me fill out all this paperwork. Mind you, they had to squeeze me in, so we was sitting there for a good 45 minutes till we actually got back to a room. And you know, they had to check my insurance and all this other good stuff. So they finally get me back to a room. It wasn't the ultrasound room. It was like just a regular room, like a regular doctor's room. So we go in the room and the lady comes in. She said, hey, how you doing? She introduces herself or whatever. And she was like, is this your first visit? And I'm just like, yeah. Mind you, I'm like, at this point, I'm just like, all right, just come on. And then she's like, at this point, like, I was so fed up. Like, I was so tired. I was like over it today. So then that's when she's like, okay, well, what I'm gonna need for you to do is lift up your shirt and I'm gonna put this on you, da 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 da. So I lift up my shirt and she puts this little jelly on my stomach and she puts a monitor on there. And all you hear is a heartbeat. And I was like, I looked at her and I said, that's my heartbeat, right? And she's like, no, that's the baby's heartbeat. And I'm like, no, that's my heartbeat. And she says, no, that's the baby's heartbeat. Well, we need to find, and then she was like, and we need to find out how far along you are and all this good stuff. And I'm just like, boo, I ain't pregnant. So that heartbeat is my heartbeat and I don't want to hear none of that. And she's like, well, we do have to go. She's like, sorry. She's like, you're gonna have to face it, but you are pregnant and all this other stuff. And I'm just looking at her like, pregnant? Me? No. Like, I was just like, no, I'm not pregnant. So then anyways, so we moved to a different room. And like, in order to get to a different room, you have to walk through the lobby again. And everybody in there is just staring at me, mind you, because I'm like the youngest person in there. Everybody just staring at me and I'm just like, boo, boo, peekaboo, what you looking at? So then I finally get in the other room and it's dark in there. So she tells me to put, she tells me to take everything from my waist down off. So that's what I did. I took everything from my waist down off and I'm just like, I'm not pregnant, so why are we doing all this? And she's like, so this your first time coming here? And I'm like, yeah. So she puts the jelly on she puts more jelly on my stomach and puts another monitor on there. And boom, I seen a big old baby. And I'm just like, when I tell y'all I was so shocked, like I did not say nothing. I was just sitting there like, I stopped breathing and everything, and then like the first thing that came out their mouth, you have to keep breathing for their baby, da, 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 da. And I'm just sitting there like, how am I pregnant? Like, me pregnant? No, like I was just like, I was still shocked. Like, to this day, I'm still shocked that I pushed a baby out of me. Like, I'm just like, I'll be looking at her and I'll be like, dang, I really pushed a baby out of me. But anyways, so like at this moment, I'm shocked. I finally, like, a good minute or so later, I finally get to breathing again and all this other stuff. Mind you, I did not say nothing else after that. And she was like, Mind you, how I told y'all this was August. Then she says, you're due November 22nd. I said, what? November 22nd? That's 4 months away. And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you're already in your second trimester and all this good stuff. And I'm just like, wait a sec. I was like, are you serious right now? And she's like, yeah, da da da. And they had this long talk with me and all this good stuff. And I'm just like, when I tell y'all, I was so shocked. I was shocked. Like, I was like, dang, I'm really pregnant. Like, I'm really pregnant. And then, like, on top of that, I was due in 4 months from then. So I'm just like, I'm trying to add everything up. It took me a good week for me to get everything together. But anyway, so they asked me if I wanted to know the gender. Mind you, I told you I wasn't talking no more. Like, I was shook. Like, I didn't say nothing. I was, like, totally out of it. Like, I was shook. I ain't want to say nothing to nobody. I was just like, man, forget it. No. So then they was like, I'll set you up an appointment for a week from now. And then we'll tell you the gender if you would like to know. I was like, sure, whatever. Well, I didn't really say that, but I was like, and then they were just like, okay. So they set me up an appointment. Fast forward to the next week. We get there and they asked me how I was doing and all this other stuff, and I had to process through my head. By that time, it did process through my head. So I'm just like, damn, man, I'm really pregnant and all this other stuff. Like once I found out, like, I'm gonna tell you, like, my life did change. Like, I started to focus on more stuff and I started to get myself together. So yeah, but anyways, they asked me if I wanted to know the gender and I was like, yeah. Told me I was having a girl, so yep. And yeah, I had my girl. That was a crazy experience for me. But if y'all want to see a video of me, like, in labor, I don't have a video of me actually pushing her out, but I do have a video of me, like, having contractions and me in labor. If y'all want to see a video of that, let me know and I'll do a video on that next. But yeah, she's asleep right now, so I'm gonna just, like, show y'all her sleep. Ooh. Y'all her sleeping, but yeah, she not. Ooh. She probably gonna be mad, but this is how she looks like. Okay, I'll put her back down. You can't really see her like that, but the next video I'll make sure y'all see her good enough to where she's awoke, or I might just put a next clip in here when she's actually awoke and moving and stuff. I might do that, but y'all gotta wait for my next video to see how she looks fully with her eyes open and everything else. But thank you for watching.